Oh, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live from beautiful Glow Fiber Stadium out at Shenandoah University. This is Winchester, the home of your Summit Valley FC, hosting St. James, two newcomers to the conference, although Summit Valley, they have their roots in Berryville FC, who did compete within this conference last season, but they certainly look like they are a reimagined, reborn team. They've already played one match in week one, a really tight defeat at the hands of Alexandria United FC, but lots of good things to build on and really lots of hope for this side. St. James FC coming off of a difficult 8-1 defeat at the hands of Arlington SA. Arlington, they were the incumbent champions of this conference. It was a tough test. We'll see how they bounce back here in week two. I'm Noah Walker with DMV Sports Media. Happy to have you. Make sure to share this link with all your friends. Drop a like on the video to help others find us in the algorithm and make sure these players and teams get the exposure they deserve. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all your home games for Summit Valley and St. James FC. DMV Sports Media have the privilege of covering both sides here on our channel on YouTube. Make sure that everyone knows this is where to find these games. And this is where you can watch your favorite players here in the UPSL conference play live here today. We have 3 UPSL matches on the channel tonight. It's 6 p.m. Hybrid FC will take on MSI Pro up in Rockville, Maryland. And, of course, at 7 p.m., Bowley's Athletic will host the Maryland Bobcats just northeast of Baltimore City at Eastern Regional Park. Really excited to have all those for you, but right now it's all about Summit Valley. St. James FC, get your predictions in the chat, guess the score, and of course let us know who your favorite players are. Any thoughts on the match as it unfolds? We have the walkout and anthem in just a moment. Really excited to have you here with us. Well, the walkout is finished. The anthem played. It's time for kickoff here at Shenandoah University. Your Summit Valley will wear their red tops, black bottoms, and of course, St. James will wear their traditional royal blue. Before we get underway, we'd like to thank those who have helped make this broadcast possible on behalf of Summit Valley FC. Thanks to PFT, that's Pro Form Training Academy. Coach Will is a Division II standout player in the NCAA who offers top training across different categories, either soccer specific or across various conditioning platforms. His resume is impressive and his training is even better. Check out Coach Will and PFT. They have open training sessions available for collegiate and school soccer players. DM if interested. The pft.proform@gmail.com email address is available on your screen. You can check out those open trainings and so much more. Check out Proform Soccer Training Academy. Proform Training Academy on their website. And email Coach Will if you're interested. Thanks again to PFT making this broadcast possible for Summit Valley and for DMV Sports Media. As we said, it is going to be Summit Valley wearing their red tops. They'll play left to right. It looks like St. James are going to play right to left. They'll start on the ball. We are underway here at Shenandoah with St. James knocking the ball around for the moment, trying to get some touches on the ball. Immediate pressure comes. And now St. James will have to play catch up as they drop numbers behind the ball. Here's your goal scorer from week 1. As House sends one forward, top of the 18. It's an early chance for Summit Valley, but great defending and sent away. The last, that was number 96, Victor Ventura, who made the clearance at the expense of a corner kick, so now a consolation prize for Summit Valley. Gerson Navarro is going to be the goalkeeper today for your home side. In front of him will be Chase Street, Luke Barger, Hector Romo, Will Total, AT, Vlad, Herman, Seth, and Tarek is the in-swinger. Falls kindly at the top of the 18 for Summit Valley. AT couldn't get it off his feet in time, and now it's a counterattack. St. James working up the pitch. And finally, running out of real estate are St. James, and it's back to Navarro. Plenty of space to work on this lovely pitch here today for Summit Valley, but that one's down the line, no clear recipient, and it looks like the offside is given for the first run. Interesting. I'd like to run that back and see who was deemed to be in an offside position, because it did seem the first player kept his run, held up, and didn't go for the ball. Obviously knew he was in an offside position, but again, I'm no rules expert, so I'm going to recuse myself from questioning any of the decisions out there today. This one's sent up top. And still hotly contested, and it is going to be a late challenge and a set piece coming out for the benefit of Summit Valley. Take a look. Well, no replay that time, but we'll make sure to get you the next. Well, we talked about the starting 11 for Summit Valley. Let's talk about St. James FC. It's like Naseb Sanur will start out in goal. More on that in a moment as Summit Valley continue to get their touches. Wind is really whipping here in this Glow Fiber Stadium. We'll see if that becomes a factor as an early ball upfield, but Saneb easily to claim it off his line. I think the direct balls are going to be difficult, especially with the wind whipping at Summit Valley's back. They're going to want to find balls to the corner and perhaps keep the ball on the ground when possible. Good combination play this time from Summit Valley as they have now won a throw on the far side. I believe that was Sorensen. Captured the honors, and final effort goes into the box in search of Loic Beong, but Navarro just a little too quick. Navarro was excellent in week 1 and has already been a reliable leader in the back. Provides that 11th man to open up the field for Summit Valley. Very comfortable with his feet. Down the line it goes. Good turn from AT. It's in the direction of Hammond. And St. James under some pressure. So Nibs sends it out. And it looks like that is a clearance that will do enough. Pressure right there again. St. James still trying to find a way out. Excuse me, that was Sonor who made that clearance on behalf of his team. Now Bissong dispossessed, gets some help. St. James still on the ball, but that didn't last much longer. Commentators curse. AT traveling up the field. And St. James will just start back from square one. Pressure again from Hammond. And James will send a big ball up the field. Nothing doing that time. Straight. We'll start this attack. Here's Straight. Immediately puts it outside, and now we'll take it back all the way to Navarro. That's Dominic Damasi slotted in on the right fullback role. Let's see how high he attempts to get today. Damasi down the line, running out of real estate is Damasi, and this time it's going to be a throw for St. James. Here comes Loic Bissong. Sidesteps one player, top of the 18. The chance has not gone fully, and it's finally sent away. Just outside of what could have been a death punch from St. James. This is Sonor. Already helped his team get out of trouble one time, and now we'll do it again. It's sent to the far touchline. A little intervention there. Kamara. And now Straight will switch the point of play over to Damasi. Hammond, who was excellent in week 1, certainly getting around the pitch and helping his team get forward through the midfield. Kamara. It looks like the point of the spear for St. James is going to be Loic Bissong. Showed good hold-up play that time, but could only go back. And now St. James will have to try to find a way out. Good pressure from Tamiru. Tamiru, you'll remember, engineered that lone goal for Summit Valley in the first week. It did come off of an own goal, but it was absolutely through the efforts of Tamiru that Summit Valley not only won the ball in transition, but also he put the cross in that put Alexandria United in a difficult spot. There's a shot, a direct ball repelled initially by Summit Valley. There's Tamiro out to Hammond. Hammond turns out of trouble and will get on his horse. Here comes Hammond looking for a return pass, and he'll get it, but St. James read that well. It's sent up in the direction of Loic Basong. Basong and Straight tied up in a battle, but it looks like Basong is whistled. And now set piece quickly sent in. Tamiro trying to thread the needle, and just by the smallest margin almost got it through, but instead I believe that was Barger who found himself in behind, couldn't quite keep the strike on target. Take a look back at the replay. Excuse me, that was Anthony Mares. If looks like we don't have the proper jersey numbers for Summit Valley at the moment. We're going to do our best with what we do have, but my apologies. St. James sends it in, but no recipient. Tamiru putting pressure on, and Sonor will have to dump it out wide. Good width provided. Help Sonor out of trouble. That is a bad option and almost punished. The slide tackle comes in, the final touch off the Summit Valley player, but those are the mistakes that can plague a team, can put you down early. Take a look back. The square ball to the center, you have to know your teammate is going to be there. But mopped up well with a challenge, and now St. James will play from the back. Lovely skill, but the second ball goes right back. St. James FC cut out by Straight. Straight will play through the midfield and all the way back to Navarro. Really using the most of this field is going to work in Summit Valley's favor. They certainly have more subs. I don't believe at this moment St. James FC have any players on the bench, any reinforcements. So as this match wears on, I think the attrition game will be a factor to pay attention to. And with the width of the field, I think there's a lot of ways that Summit Valley can really increase that attrition rate. St. James, you want to take the most of your opportunities playing from the back, which they have done continually. You don't have to force the ball forward, and you definitely don't want to be chasing. So I think the key to the game, if you're St. James, is staying compact defensively and holding on to the ball as much as possible. And you see Sonor, ice in his veins, able to hold on in spite of the challenge. It's dispossessed initially. Loic Basong drops in deep, and now we'll send it out wide. Straight makes the challenge. Cobb, and now it is going to be a whistle against Chase Straight and a set piece for St. James. Take a look back at this replay. Straight also picks up the caution. It was a quick throw from Cobb that was what really sprung this into motion, and Straight found themselves in a position where he had to get man or ball and couldn't get ball. A cynical foul, but probably a smart one, because that would have been a really good square ball opportunity for St. James. And now an opportunity for a service. Looks like Juan Randon will perform the honors here. Randon, a known entity in the area. It's really strong young player. Here's Rondon with the service. Good service. Goalkeeper comes, but can't collect initially, and Navarro is able to pick up the second ball. Good positive goalkeeping from Navarro. And his distribution almost created problems at the back for St. James. There's Cobb. Not quite able to keep that one in play. Down the line it goes. I'm getting word this is Jesus Gomez Blanco making another change. Excuse me, making another challenge. Not Demasi. We're getting those roster updates now, and we'll provide them to you as we're able. This one's kept alive by Cobb. Lovely skill, has two Summit Valley players bearing down. What a turn up top from Barger. And now it's sent over to Tamiro. Can he track this one down? Even with the speed of Tamiro, couldn't quite get to that one, and it will be a goal kick to come. "15 minutes played, no goals to show." There have been a couple of nervy moments at the back for St. James, but they have kept the ship upright, and they have played well, especially being the team with no subs, no reinforcements. They do have the full 11. But have worked through some early nerves and some early mistakes. It's still second game of the season for a team. Oh, it's calamitous at the back. Barger scores. Rolasso. And it's a difficult moment at the back for Naseb Sanur, who played so well in week 1 and now just holds on to the ball a little bit too long. Dispossessed in front of his own goal, and Summit Valley have their first. Here's a look back at the replay. And yeah, I don't think that Seneb wanted that ball fed to him with several Summit Valley players right there in the 18, but he got it, and then the pressure was just too quick to deal with. Now 1-0 here in the 17th minute. Summit Valley looking good. They'll keep the ball moving around. Tamiro back to Kamara. And Summit Valley will keep this one working. Here's straight over to Kamara, who's been excellent in his defensive midfield role. This is right on the line. Well won by Nathan Sinai. And Sinai wins it back. There's a challenge from Kamara, a product of this very Shenandoah University. Hammond sends it back inside. And that is problematic as St. James have found their way onto the ball. Down the line it goes. But St. James able to prevent Summit Valley from taking advantage of the transition. Here's Hammond dropping deep again. And we'll start the attack from the midfield. Thanks for joining us here on DMV Sports Media live on YouTube. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning fan, welcome back. Great skill from Kamara. And we'll hold on and draw in the pressure. A little bit too long on the ball to Miru, but he kind of knew what he was doing the whole while. This one's sent up top. Look, Basang is on it, needs some support, and this is where, as St. James, you have to wear your opportunities. Look, Basang, he has a hit. I don't have a problem with that shot. As I was saying, St. James FC, they have to weigh their opportunities. How many players do you want to commit to these attacks? I think with that in mind, Loic Basang certainly entitled to have a strike from that range. Let your defenders stay back. Let them keep their breath. And why not have one and try to test Navarro from range? The final shot, of course, did go up and over, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Beautiful day here out in Winchester, Virginia. Light wind and I guess a little bit chillier than what you'd call summer conditions, but it certainly is nice, and I think the players wouldn't want it any hotter. They have certainly heated up. There's Barger, and now sent in, top of the 18. Hammond is there. Can he get a shot off? He takes it outside, and now top of the 18, Tamiru. Tamiru, he shoots, and saved well by Naseb Sanor. Final effort, lacked a bit of the venom. Would have taken to beat a goalkeeper of Sonor's quality. Well, St. James will have an opportunity to play out here in the 20th minute. There's Cobb. Great challenge from Chase Strait. Has Kamara. Kamara, look how skilled he is in the midfield. There's another case of the commentator's curse. Great ball skills on the ball. I think the decision making there is what let Kamara down, and now we'll have to play makeup. It's a challenge on the far side. There's going to be a service on the far side. St. James FC, they've got players, and set pieces is where you want to make them count. Thanks for tuning in here on DMV Sports Media live on YouTube. And welcome, Shingi, Bertagon, Random Aussie, tuned in all the way from Sydney, Australia. Welcome back, Random Aussie. Madeline Chapman from South Georgia. This is a good ball, top of the 18, falls kindly to Cobb. Cobb will still put some pressure on it. As Tamiro back to Strait and now out wide. Good turn from Tamiro, and he's got Kamara in the midfield. Kamara directing traffic, and now back to Strait. Summit Valley, as we said, they've got this game in their control. They've got one goal to the good, and they have reinforcements to go. So if they can pull St. James back and forth in pursuit of the ball, that'll work to their advantage. There's Kamara, dispossessed, in possession. Loic Bissong, he's in. What a save from Navarro. Second bite at the apple for St. James, but Kamara is there, and now Summit Valley have outlasted that spell of pressure. Well, that's how quickly an attack can start. St. James, they found their way in, and they proved they're still in this game. Flag stays down, sent up top to Barger. Hammond's in the middle, and Barger's still going. And now we are going to have a foul coming out, going against Summit Valley. It's an opportunity for St. James to catch their breath. It's an early ball down the field, cut out of the air by St. James. Hammond's there. Hammond still putting pressure. He's won it. Can he beat the last man? It's sent out to Tamiro. A lot of space. Tamiro sends it across. It misses by a fraction. Hammond was there, and now St. James able to stack some bodies back. Second bite here for Summit Valley. Top of the 18 is Tamiro. This one will get served again. A lot of Summit Valley bodies in the area. Pinballs back and forth, and finally sent out by Cobb. Summit Valley will have this throw. Hammond back to Kamara. Bissong applying some pressure, and we'll force this one back. There's Kamara again. Out to Strait. And Harrigan provides some width on the far side as Navarro directs traffic. Here is Will Harrigan, and counterpart to Chase Straight in this really reliable back line. And Straight will opt for the long ball. I'm going to stretch the field. Barger was in the vicinity, but not quite able to get on the end of it. Sent away by St. James. Harrigan steps up. Lovely bit of skill. Still going. Strike from distance, easily claimed by Navarro, who will take some time off the clock. Final effort had by Renara. That was Mahana. Omar Mahana did really well to slalom upfield. And there's a hard challenge made in the nick of time. I believe that was Ventura. Excuse me, Jordan Boos. Had to cover a lot of ground to get in there. That's showing why Jordan Boos has won the captain's armband for his side. Here's Hammond turning, finding Tamiro. Tamiro with the early service in. It's up in the air. The flag comes up. Wouldn't have counted anyways. The flag had already gone. And now it's going to be a set piece coming out for the benefit of St. James FC. It looks like Boos will take. Oh, I forgot. You all have been acquainted, Madeline and Random Aussie. Zach. Oh, hey. What's up, Zach? Good to see you as well, my friend. Sorry I missed your message earlier. And we see a good ball sent in, but just a little late. And perhaps too direct. Kamara again will turn up the pitch. Now over the top it goes. And Boos able to intervene in the nick of time. Tamiru, doesn't he jump those runs so well? Is sent out wide. We saw that in week 1 against Alexandria United. Tamiru able to predict when United would be sending the ball out into the midfield. He jumped the run and he forced a goal. We saw it again there. It's the quickness, but it's the instinct even more so, having the ability to read the field and anticipate. Camaro will send a perfect ball in behind. Amasi, and a clear foul going against Barger. Booming kick upfield from Subsanor. Turned initially by Luke Basong. Well, squared. There's Kamara again. He's been excellent. And Straight will calm things down. Allow his teammates to find their positioning, catch their breath. Harrigan with time to kill, and Tamino out to Hammond. Hammond still going. Seth Hammond, lovely slalom run. And he has Tariq Kamara, who was just in behind the back line, that time. So we're going to have a set piece for St. James coming out. Down the line it goes. Harrigan is there. And Harrigan able to walk the tightrope, still going down the line, finally runs out of real estate. St. James will have an opportunity to try to commit some bodies forward with this throw. Doesn't last long. Anthony Montes. Excuse me, that was Herman Escobar starting this attack. And just a little miscommunication straight, not finding the connection with his colleague out wide. Jesus Blanco. There's the throw from Chase Straight right down the line. And it forces the action from Loose. Sent up the pitch by St. James FC. And this is an opportunity to thread one in. Here it is, 1v1. What a save. How has Navarro come up with that one? There's going to be a foul, an offside after the fact. Take a look at this run. I'm not sure if it was the first run, if this would have counted, but that was a beautiful ball in to Nathan Sinai. And there's a player down after the fact. And I believe that ball did come in from Rendon. Sinai, I think, deemed to be in an offside position. He's a bit shaken up after the play, but will continue. Doesn't have a lot of options because there are no subs to speak of at the moment for St. James FC. And so Sinai will have to just tough this one out as long as he can. Over the top, this one goes from Harrigan. Oh, it's headed back, now sent back, and not a thing that Naseb Senor could do. The pressure just stifling, and because it was played as a back pass with the foot, this would have been a really risky ball for Naseb Senor to try to play and just let it go out. Now Hammond will send in this set piece from the corner. It's taken short. Hammond with the strike. Well, he got everything behind that one, but couldn't quite get over top, and the kick goes wide. Sarsor, thank you. My apologies. Yeah, I'm struggling with some of the names. I got the tiniest font I think I've ever seen on a roster. Excuse me, that was Sarsor, who's in goal today for St. James FC. And certainly will be called on again as Summit Valley continue to knock at the door. Straight, under some pressure, really good wherewithal to draw in the pressure and then turn back into the open space. Harrigan. And now down the line we go. Hammond working against Cobb. Still going is Hammond, Seth Hammond. The shot blocked. Second effort also knocked away at the expense of a throw, and that was the captain for St. James, Jordan Boos. So another throw here in a fortuitous area for Summit Valley, and who else but Chase Straight will stand over the ball. Not a lot of run-up space, but we know Straight has this long throw delivery to the penalty marker. It goes not well cleared initially, finally sent out right back to the top of the 18. Challenge is flying in. It's in behind Barger, across, and it's golazo for Hammond. What a service from Barger. What a finish from Hammond. And the cohesion is really starting to build here for Summit Valley, who have doubled their tally here in the 34th minute. For all the work Seth Hammond has put in, running all up and down the pitch, he is rewarded for that effort. Got to give a lot of credit to the assist as well from Barger. Let's take a look back at this sequence of play. Here's a lovely little turn. And the final effort. Vladimir Diaz-Mora was the one who sent that ball down the line, which allowed Harrigan to square it, and then of course Hammond to finish. 2-0 is your score here at Glow Fiber, as we've entered the 35th minute. Just 10 minutes left of this first half period. I think if you're St. James FC, knowing you don't have subs, you want to probably limit the Summit Valley chances. 2-0 and 3-0 psychologically is such a different scoreline. If they can keep the score to 2, I think they can regroup at the half and try to find something. Maybe commit bodies forward for set pieces and throws, but generally you don't want to overcommit. Yes, you want to go and get goals and you want to erase the deficit, but you got to be careful because you can take yourself out of a game very quickly chasing a game like that, especially with their substitute situation. This is sent in by Cobb. Down the field from Rendon. And St. James will show patience here. Just kept away from Tomorrow. And Al-Sinai will cut inside. Still has to beat Hammond. Good little intervention there from Rendon. The return pass sent in the direction of Loic Bissong. Finally cleared away. St. James will have this throw on the far touchline. Down the line it goes. Demiru. And now squared across. Well, that was a nervy square ball, but Straight did well to step up and get to the ball in between two defenders. Demiru. And this one's sent in a diagonal pattern. Cobb is there, but so is Hammond. Hammond has come out on top. Here comes Seth Hammond. Final touch, a bit heavy. And now just a consolation prize for Summit Valley. Take a look at this run from Seth Hammond. And you can expect this to be a long throw from Chase Straight. Straight will send this into the top of the 6. First ball sent away by Boos. Oh my goodness, what a save from Sarsour. I believe that this was a strong hand from the St. James goalkeeper. We'll have to look back at the replay. I don't know if this came off of the upright or if the goalkeeper got a hand to that. If it was a hand, that is an incredible stop. Here's another look at that long throw delivery. We're going to have to come back to that because there's another long throw delivery sent into the back post and away. We'll come back and look at that initial replay to see if Sarsour got a strong hand to this. The first ball only partially cleared. No, it was off the upright, excuse me. Sarsour, to his credit, might have had it covered, had a strong hand up, but yeah, that was off of the woodwork. Denying a second for Hammond and a third for Summit Valley. This is one back on the far side. Tamiru will send an early ball over to Barger. And knocked away. Just in the nick of time by Boos. Jordan Boos has had to cover a lot of territory back there, and don't expect that to change for the second 45. But right now it's going to be Summit Valley throw on the far touch. Looks like they're not so interested in a long throw delivery. The second ball could cause some issues. It's kept alive. Summit Valley, maybe that wasn't the right move. What a turn, what a finish. Seth Hammond, you didn't have to give him a second invitation. As soon as the ball fell to his feet, he knew what to do, turned his body, took the defender out of the play, and knocked this one into the upper 90. What a player, what a finish. Let's take a look back at this replay. The third for Summit Valley. Well, it was well saved, but perhaps this one would have been better let go for a corner kick. It's always easy to make those calls in hindsight, but the execution just let down this St. James side there in their own 18, and those are the mistakes that will haunt you on a day which always was going to be a difficult execution for St. James with no subs on the bench, playing away against a really cohesive Summit Valley who are really making the most of all the opportunities they're given right now. This one sent down the line. Mara did enough. Down the line it goes. Two players knock into each other, but Barger has got back on his feet and will send it back inside. It's good to see Hammond also back on his feet after that little collision there. Sent down the line. Flag should stay down. Can Summit Valley keep it alive? The answer is no. Just going to be a throw for St. James coming out here in the 42nd minute. Thanks for joining us here on match day in the UPSL, this DMV North Conference match, but we also will get to treat you to a couple of matches later in the evening up in Maryland. Of course, we have Hybrid's home opener at 6 p.m. from Hammond High School in Columbia, Maryland, taking on MSI Pro, hot off of a big victory in week 1 against FC Moco. And of course, at 7 p.m., Bowley's Athletic, incumbent champions from Maryland, will host the Maryland Bobcats, former pro side, at Eastern Regional. Josh Sager on the call for that one. For Hybrid MSI, it's going to be Matt Geyer on the call. Really excited to have you with us here on DMV Sports Media. UPSL Match Day. Tomorrow we'll have another slate of matches. We'll have Super Soccer League all day long. Super Soccer League Maryland. All 6 matches live for you from 11 to 8:30 kickoff times. And of course, we'll have Super Soccer League Virginia. We'll have one 8 p.m. match in Gian Hawks and World Class Premier. In UPSL at 5 p.m. will be Arlington SA hosting North Stars, and at 8 p.m. it's Virginia Dreams home opener as they host Alexandria United. That's lovely skill. And again, Barger, the vision to pick out that pass, absolutely incredible. Over to Veer to Vladimir Mora. Mora will turn, top of the 18, shut down well. But Summit Valley will hold on to the ball for the moment. It's contested and won. And that ball off of Tamiru's hands. It's a set piece to keep St. James on the ball. It's a lovely pass to cut the difference. Rendon calling out traffic. Can he find Loic Basong? Yes, he can. Top of the 18, Basong knocks it back. Now sent in. This is flagged down. The save made initially, cleared off the line. And again, Navarro doing the impossible for his side. At times he's been standing on his head and has made another tremendous stop. Well, we'll have to come back and look at this replay in a moment. No time, no rest for the wicked, as Cobb sends an early ball in, but just a little bit overhit. St. James down the line, and that attack peters out. Barger will send it back. A bit overcooked was that back pass. St. James right back in the driver's seat to the end line. Ricochets. And here comes the counterattack. Mura looking for Barger. Flag comes up, won't count, and the offside will take us back close to midfield. It's a set piece just inside of the half. Well sent away. By Jesus Blanco. We've entered stoppage time here. Not a lot of stoppages, not a lot of injuries, so I think we will see that whistle in the next minute or two. Perhaps one final effort for St. James. Now is the time they can commit some bodies forward because they know there's not long to go till the midpoint. A goal now would be huge and bring in that score within 2. We'll see how much time is given. And now Cobb sending one across. Just ahead of Basong was Navarro. And now Will send his teammates up. This should be one of the final kicks of the half. Navarro's ball could cause some issues. And now will be a throw on the near side for Summit Valley. Blanco back to straight. And Summit Valley will continue soaking up this pressure, knocking it around over to Harrigan. And that is going to do it for your halftime whistle. Summit Valley 3, St. James 0, with 45 left to play here in UPSL Virginia North Conference action. I'm Noah Walker with DMV Sports Media. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, share the link with your friends. And if you're still haven't scratched your footy fix, tune in at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. for 2 additional UPSL conference matches. Really excited to have you with us, and we will see you in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting close to kickoff time for half two here in this UPSL Virginia North Conference matchup between your Summit Valley FC and St. James FC at lovely Glow Fiber Park out here in Winchester, Virginia. Before we start the second half, we do want to give a big shout out to Will Harrigan and, of course, to PFT Proform Training for helping to bring today's match to you and making this broadcast possible. Check out proformtraining.com in order to sign up and get your top-level training and conditioning from a certified former college player with a BS in exercise science. And, of course, feel free to check out the open soccer training for high school and college players. Information included on your screen. Check out their offerings located at Jim Burnett Field. Email pft.proform@gmail.com. Again, that's pft.proform@gmail.com for information on this open training or any other offerings that PFT has. Thanks again to Will Harrigan and PFT for making this broadcast possible. Well, we are moments away from a second half kickoff. It was all Summit Valley for the first 45. 3 unanswered goals, 2 from Hammond and 1 from Barger. And we have 45 minutes for St. James to issue their answer, although it will be tough sledding. We noticed no substitutes on the St. James bench, just the 11 that they had to start the match. And, of course, Summit Valley, they have coaching staff and substitutes in droves. They are a well-prepared team. They rose from the ashes of Berryville FC, so they do have UPSL Premier experience, but they also have a completely restructured team, new players, new coaching staff, and a new dream. And it all starts here with their home opener here at Shenandoah University. It's a beautiful facility. If you're in the area, I highly recommend coming out and checking a Summit Valley FC home match. But if it's not possible, it's not in the cards, we will have all matches broadcast live here on DMV Sports Media, live on YouTube. Really happy to have you with us for the second half, for all home broadcasts. If that's not your cup of tea, we also have MSI Pro and Hybrid FC with Matt Geyer on the call, which is kicked off at 6 p.m. So that one is now live. And, of course, at 7, we'll have Bowley's Athletic hosting Maryland Bobcats with Josh Sager on the call. Lots to look forward to, but right now it's all about Summit Valley and St. James. Summit Valley will play right to left, wearing their red tops, black bottoms. And, of course, St. James will play left to right, wearing their royal blue and black kits. And this is going to be a trademark long throw from Chase Strait into the mix. Not cleared initially, and it has taken a final touch off the St. James FC back line. Corner kick to come. And it looks like Hammond will take the honors. Here is that in-swinger. Goes across the face of goal. Needed a crucial touch, but no one able to redirect it onto Sarsour's goal. And it's just a goal kick to come. That's good to know. Leon Sanchez, 2 players from VA Dream play at this university. Ruben Rodriguez, Olvin Martinez. And 2 great players. Tariq Kamara, who's out there now on Summit Valley, also plays at the university. I missed the comment from Shining Cyber Dragon. What do I do when I lose my voice? Well, I just keep going. Those who have been with the channel for a while have probably heard me through all seasons, through a whole lot, and I have matches where I have not been at my best. I promise you that. I scarcely will take a day off, and I will wear a mask when I'm sick, of course. But here, hold that thought. This is down the line for Mora into the 18. Summit Valley have plenty of players in support, but it's really well defended. And the attack kind of evaporated, and now St. James can play out from the back. This one ricochets upfield, easily sent back over to straight. But I will say, we have developed quite a robust DMV Sports Media team, so we have plenty of those who can step in and handle the call. Of course, we have Matt Geyer on the MSI hybrid match right now, and we have Josh Sager stepping in for Bullies and Maryland Bobcats. Josh Campbell has become a big part of our team, and we're really excited to welcome back Tyler Lochte to the DMV Sports Media family. Tyler, for those of you who are new to the channel, and those who may remember him, he is one of the voices on the Big Ten Network and features prominently for University of Maryland NCAA basketball games, as well as their lacrosse, and sometimes even their football and soccer programs. Tyler is a true professional. We're so glad to have him back with DMV Sports Media this summer, whenever possible. So there are plenty who can do this role even better than me in this DMV Sports Media family. But enough about me and enough about us. This is St. James on the ball. Rendon will send it across. Now Cobb creating some width on the touch. And now some penetration. Sinai will try to send it across. It stays just on the line and trickles into the waiting arms of Navarro. Now Kamara with the return pass. It's created a narrow channel to play into. And now Hammond will send it back. Good ball through the middle from Navarro. Kamara just about does enough to keep the possession, and the final ball left something to be desired. Rendon will slalom past one, has cut out a beautiful pass, but mopped up by this ever-present Summit Valley back line. Rendon again. Back to Booth. And Cobb. Rounding one challenge, now down the line it goes. That's a lovely little turn. And Sinai will try to split the difference between the two defenders, but it didn't quite pan out. It's 0-0 over in that MSI hybrid match, which you can check in on at your leisure in the early stages. Oh, that's lovely decision, but the execution left something to be desired. The back heel. And now square ball sent away by Harrigan. Excuse me, I believe that was straight. Harrigan. Now Mora has found some space. There's Hammond with Akers in front of him. Hammond still working. Now cutting to the top of the 18. Hammond, he went for one last audacious move. Didn't quite pan out, and he has Now have to get back. Navarro off his line. And now it's Summit Valley. Through the feet of Harrigan. Over the top it goes. Kamara to Tamiru. And that ball sent into the next zip code. Will be a throw for Summit Valley. Bit of a game of pinball over there, ricocheting about. Tamiru has marched his way down the line. And now we'll send it into the feet of Barger. This time it's going to be a St. James throw coming out of their own area. As we march on into the 54th minute, it looks like we have our first goal over in the other match. MSI have scored 1-0. Meanwhile, Tamiru showing off his skills in the 18, dribbling the players like they're cones. Now Kamara has arrived on the scene. It's right back down to Tamiru. This attack will continue. Harrigan showing off the skills. If you need reasons to check out PFT, look no further than that dribble from Will Harrigan. Incredible technical ability. Loic Bissong showing off his footwork, but ran right into the back of Chase Strait. There's a fine line between great defending and a foul. This one's kind of somewhere in the middle, but it looks like it will be given as a set piece. And Rendon certainly wants to be the one responsible for this set piece from a really strong position. 26 yards out with the wind, with the sun right in the eyes of Navarro. He's played so well to preserve his shutout, his clean sheet thus far, but I would not envy his position. It looks like Rendon will make way. Well, standing over this one is Andres Sorensen. Sorensen's kick up and over. It's off the American football crossbar, and it will be a goal kick to come. Not a bad effort. Sorensen's ball always dipping, but it didn't quite have the dip required to get into Navarro's net. Now it will be a goal kick played out on the ground. Kamara. Tamiru. Now straight out and down the line. This is right back. There's Mora bouncing it back to Harrigan. And Strait will try to pick his head up and find something down the line. Escobar on his horse, but runs out of space. And it will be a throw for St. James FC. Let's see what St. James can make of this spell of possession. But first, we're going to make a switch. It is Summit Valley bringing off Blanco. Bringing on a player to be named. There's a long throw from straight, sent away, and now Loic Bassong will have a lot of work to do to hold up play. Unable to hold on to possession that time. Now Straight will redirect out to Romo. Hector Romo splitting the difference. Look at that burst of speed from Romo. Barger up top. Switches the point of attack. And now that's a chance for Hammond. Seth Hammond. Oh, what a ball. Sent over. Barger right in front. Hard to know. Was he onside or not? Doesn't matter. Ball went up into the American football crossbar. But look at this tic-tac-toe play. Hammond back to Kamara and then Barger. Doesn't get any better than that. Well, I suppose it does if the ball goes in the back of the net. That is delicious play from Summit Valley, who are really firing on all cylinders right now. Down the line from Romo. Escobar showing off his skill. Escobar dispossessed. Now it's St. James at the foot of Loic Bassong. Just about kept alive. Rondon will switch the point of attack. With Cobb splitting the difference. Too many red shirts there. It's a little miscommunication. I think Harrigan wanted Navarro to come off his line, but I don't know if Navarro called for it. No harm, no foul. Ball right back down the pitch as Hammond has an overlapping run. And to his right, looks like it's Romo. And now the final service left something to be desired. It's like Tamiro is off. We'll try to get you the number of the player coming on in just a moment. Unfortunately, a lot of these are not correct. I believe that's Juan Vargas who has just stepped on. We'll confirm that as we are able, but right now it's a long ball down the pitch. Easily sniffed out by the Summit Valley number 1. Back across, straight. We'll continue to create those angles along with Harrigan. And here comes the attack. Foul given. Franklin Juarez has stepped on as one of the substitutes for Summit Valley. As Boos, who started this attack, now St. James down the line into the side netting. Not a bad effort at all. Take a look back at this replay. Final strike taken by Andres Sorensen, who got everything behind it. Just couldn't quite squeeze it in the near post. And the cleat sheet remains for Summit Valley. This final touch comes off the Summit Valley back line, but I think they're fine playing it smart. Yes, they might have been able to save that one, but like we saw in the first half, sometimes you save it only to have the opponents come and take it from you right in front of your own goal. I think Summit Valley, they have their 3-goal cushion. They're okay conceding this corner kick. That's the case of live to fight another day, and now they will defend this corner kick, which will be sent in by Cobb. Ball's spilled at the near post, but Navarro did enough, and it will be a second effort. Jonathan Cobb with the in-swinger. Misses everybody and out. Looks like it's a goal kick to come. Down the line it goes. And Sarsor really confident in his decision, able to get a lot of distance and create this attack. Sorensen, his ball ricochets. Player down off the ball. And looks like we're going to come check on the head injury, potential head injury. As there is a St. James player really shaken up. There's another look at the ball forward. Tough collision. For those interested, it's still 1-0 over in that MSI game. This is sent over. Barger is offside, or at least deemed to be offside. Let's take a look back. This ball down the line. Barger's shoulder was just ever so slightly in behind the St. James line, which did well to hold its shape. And now will be a set piece coming out for St. James FC here in the 66th minute. If you're just joining us, it is Summit Valley 3, St. James 0 on a lovely day here at Glow Fiber Stadium out here in Winchester. Harrigan able to pick out a pass in traffic. Summit Valley, they love creating these triangles. And now straight will involve Navarro. Navarro, ooh, that's a costly mistake. Helped out by his back line. Second ball falls kindly for Sinai. And over. St. James, they've got bodies committed. And that is going to be a foul. Loic Bissong turned and unfooted the defender. And now we've got a set piece in a really dangerous area. We'll see who stands over this one. Looks like Bissong himself may take it. And this one's only 20 yards from goal. Perfect distance to get it up and over the wall. Sun in Navarro's eyes. What can Bissong make? It's into the wall. And it will trickle over that end line for a corner kick. Cheeky from Loic Bissong. Tried to go under the wall to catch the goalkeeper by surprise. I can speak from first-hand experience as a goalkeeper. If the player's able to get it under the wall when you're not expecting that, that really can wrong foot you. You can get a deflection, and the ball can go absolutely anywhere. But the wall did its job. And now it's just a consolation prize for St. James FC. Meanwhile, Summit Valley will make another switch. It looks like it is Escobar who's coming off. And in his place will be Tristan Aubert for Summit Valley. Here comes that in-swinger from Jonathan Cobb. Cobb's ball, ooh, it just clears everyone. I'm not sure what Summit Valley's man at the top of the 6 was doing when he decided to leave this one go. It was 2 players, I think, who both thought the other would take care and mop this one up. Neither did, and it was almost catastrophe, but ball sails past everyone. Now it is just a goal kick for the for Summit Valley. This one's sent into the corner. Sinai takes the shot on. It's well smothered and well held by Navarro, who's had a peach of a game. Making a ton of stops, putting together a little highlight reel. And just this one performance. This is down the line. Aubert's return pass left something to be desired. It's kept alive, but it is going to be a foul. And it's a set piece and another good position for St. James. This one's sent into a great area. And Summit Valley backline does its job. There's Hammond helping create some separation. Now Kamara pursued by Rondon. And it will be a set piece for Summit Valley. This is going to be contested, but Summit Valley have plenty of space in behind. And the final ball well overhit. Goal kick to follow. There's one and only Seth Hammond, hoping to keep the possession in the midfield, but possession squandered. Brunson. Keeping it alive for his team. St. James have 1, 2, 3 bodies in that 18, but the attack comes to nothing. Hammond looking out wide. To Franklin, and now it's a set piece for Summit Valley. That was intended for Romo, but just a little too much juice on the pass. And now Summit Valley will have to go into defensive mode as St. James knocking around their back line. '72nd minute. Just under 20 left to play. Straight. His ball picked up by Cobb. Cobb still going. Has help from Sinai. It's only partially cleared. And now it will be a throw over on that far touchline. 73rd minute. Summit Valley still in a comfortable position with the 3-0 advantage. Haven't had to force the issue much in the second half. They've got that 3-goal cushion, and they're making some more subs. Believe that was DeMassey coming on. And now Barger will switch the point of attack. Plenty of options here. Romo looking for the hero ball in the direction of DeMassey. Now Sorensen. And the final effort easily cut out by Harrigan, who uses Navarro to create an angle. Doesn't Navarro do that so well? Finding the ball right through the middle. Oh, unfortunate ricochet. Goalkeeper made the initial clearance, but off his own teammate and finally picked up by Sarsour. St. James can counterattack. It's Loic Bissong. His ball not well controlled, and Navarro will just send this away. No intended target. Just mop it up. When you have that 3-goal advantage, you don't need to find the perfect pass each time. Sometimes it's better to live to fight another day. Here's Nathan Sinai bouncing off the contact. It will be a set piece, and it's quickly taken. Jonathan Cobb down the line, working against Hammond. Hammond gets the better of that one, but at the cost of a throw, and now Cobb will take. Down the line, intended for Loic Bissong. Those who don't know it, there is no offside on a throw, so Bissong was tricky, tried to come from behind the Summit Valley back line, but this back line did its job. Now Harrigan over to Chase Strait. And Hammond will drop deep to help springboard this attack. Hammond looking out wide, kept alive, well, only for the moment. Romo couldn't quite keep it alive. Good skill here from Aubert. And squared. Damasi wins the better of that one. It's going to be a foul inside of Summit Valley territory. And of course, St. James has an opportunity to deliver. It's Cobb down the line, connecting with his counterpart up top. But Bissong was just a little early on his run, creating separation. And we are back. Here's Navarro into Harrigan. Juarez bouncing off the challenge, has to get it off his feet, and did so well. And what a find there from Harrigan into Tarek Kamara. And now Aubert. And that is going to be a foul, the push from Tristan Aubert. This is St. James FC. Boos weighing his options, will send it down the line quickly, and Cobb has been more and more involved trying to get in. This ball's still alive, and St. James looking for Juarez. Kamara is there. Makes some moves, slaloms one player. Now down the line for Hammond. We know the speed that Hammond provides. What option will he take this time? He's got 2 goals, 1 goal away from a would-be hat trick, but unselfishly serves it off to Barger. Now it's back to Kamara. Kamara still going. rounds the challenge. Is there a square ball? There it is. It's sent in. Golazo! And what a finish. A beautiful finish in there. From Dominic Damasi. It was a team effort, but Damasi, he put the finishing touch on. Credit to Tarek Kamara for his quick burst of acceleration to round the defender, take it to the end line, and then create a lovely assist. 4-0. Take a look back on this replay. Kamara with the acceleration. And wow, Damasi put his foot out in the perfect time and got a really strong contact point, tucked it into that side netting, not a thing that Sarsour could do. And we are sitting here at 4-0 here in the 79th minute. Boos has time and will try to create a big ball down the pitch. It's Sinai. Back to Cobb. Cobb's lofted ball could cause problems, but it's well dealt with at the expense of a corner by this Summit Valley back line. And swinger goes to the back post. Now the service, well sniffed out by Navarro. And he'll let his teammates get out before knocking this one up the pitch. It's a booming ball, but we may be coming back. It's waved as out of the box, and I think we're going to have a set piece. For St. James, making things interesting here. Let's take a look back at the replay. This will be interesting. Unclear. Yeah, it looks like it is going to be given as a handball. That's one I really feel for Navarro there. There's so many lines all lined up there around that 18. I know as a goalkeeper for me playing on these turf fields here in the U.S., it's a mistake I've certainly made, maybe more so in coming out for the ball. When you look down, you see one line, you think that's my line, but in real game speed, it can be very difficult to make the right decision. In any case, St. James won't care how they come. Chances have come at a premium, and this is a great one for Juan Rendon. From just about 19. Rendon trying to curl one to the back post. Never really had the dip, never really had the curve required. Take a look back at this replay. And the clean sheet remains intact for Summit Valley. And we're back in. Juarez back to Romo, now over to Straight. We're entered the final 10 minutes of play. Summit Valley cling to a convincing lead. They will have a set piece coming out. Straight down the line. It's well flicked on. Here comes Damasi. Cobb did enough. Damasi has won it back. Sends it forward for Hammond. Seth Hammond floats one to the backside. No one there. But the late run has come from Romo. Hector Romo. Now he will serve it across. Only partially cleared. And here is a booming strike from Barger. Just wide of the frame. There's a look back at the replay. Lovely from Hector Romo to keep this one alive. Barger, he had the confidence to take this one on. Not the worst strike at all, but just a little wide of the frame. Didn't catch the cleanest of contact. Knocked out towards Sorensen. It's well battled. Romo still going, makes the challenge into Damasi. Dominic Damasi with the early challenge. Boos is there. Second ball falls kindly for Romo. And now tripped up is Romo, and it's a set piece this time for Summit Valley in a fortuitous area. What a chaotic section of play. Take a look back at the replay. Damasi has been a jolt of life for this Summit Valley attack since coming on, already scoring one and helping to reinvigorate the attack. It looks like standing over this one is Barger and Hammond. If I were a gambling man, I'd wager that I think Hammond may be the one hitting this. He's still on the 2 goals, and his teammates may be looking to give him a nod for that hat trick. Yep, there it is. Sent in golazo, and what a hat trick. A performance from Seth Hammond. Bends it around the wall, tucks it in the corner. Lights, camera, action, and that is 5-0 for Summit Valley. Congratulations to Seth Hammond for that hat trick. Congratulations to Summit Valley on a job well done. Take a look at this replay. Not a thing that Sarsour could do. Yeah, absolutely. Perfectly tucked in. And in those situations, the wall actually sort of provides a screen to the goalkeeper. Can work against you if your wall doesn't fully cover the curve. So that's one that I think Sarsour would really have been hard-pressed to make the save with a late vision sight at the ball. It's contested in the midfield. Kamara down the line for Hammond. Still going as Hammond. Why not? A strike from distance, just wide. And now it will be a goal kick to come for St. James FC. This is sailed up the pitch, but it looks like Sinai won't get there in time. Just about 5 minutes left of regulation. Summit Valley making another switch. Looks like that's Ayrton Justice who has stepped on for Summit Valley, and it is going to be a set piece. Hammond, the one to deliver. Ricochets, goalkeeper comes and holds on. What a save from Sarsour. So deny Tristan Aubert. It's a booming kick up the pitch. Headed away by Justice. Now Romo off his feet, gets Barger. Now Kamara. And Kamara's ball was a tricky one. Had some real backspin, but couldn't clear the back line. Sinai now looking to thread the needle. That's cut out initially by Straight. Second ball falls kindly. And the attack continues for St. James. Now back to Cobb. And that final pass just let down Rondonen's SJFC. Welcome back, Random-Aussie, and welcome Braden Straight. It says turn up Summit Valley. I think last week was a real indicator of which way things were going for this Summit Valley side, and it is all started to click here at home here in week 2. A resounding 5-0 performance here at home in front of the fans. It doesn't get any better than that. And I think this coaching staff and this team can really feel proud of what they've been able to put together on the field. It's not easy. Meanwhile, they're not done. This is sent across by Hammond. Aubert traces it down on the near touchline. Here's Tristan Aubert with the service. And well marshaled out. It was in the direction of Manzo, Benjamin Manzo. Just a fraction away from that one. Now Cobb for Sinai. And Barger, he's got to run. Oh, looking for the clever little pass. Damasi could have been in, but instead the attack will go back the other way. And that's just been that kind of day for St. James. Credit to their efforts. With just 11 players, no subs, they really have put a Herculean effort out there today, all these players. But it was always up against them, traveling 2 hours out to Shenandoah University with just the 11 against the team that had all of the momentum in front of their home fans. Got to give them credit. They're a young team. They've had a couple of hard weeks in early UPSL action, but I think we'll see better and better things from St. James as the season goes. This is sent down the line. And now it's Sinai. Jaden White has made an appearance here late for Summit Valley here on the right side. Excuse me, on the left side of Summit Valley to provide some extra attacking prowess. And well, it's another corner kick for Cobb and St. James FC. Jonathan Cobb with the in-swinger. It goes low, past everyone. The service has caused a lot of problems for Summit Valley. Still in the mix. Is there going to be a final product? There is not. And finally sent all the way as far as Boos. Now Rendon. And once again back out to Jonathan Cobb. St. James, can they string together one goal here before time runs out, or will Summit Valley defend their clean sheet? We're certainly not thick with time at this point. We're into stoppage, and I didn't see a lot of stoppages for the second half. I believe I saw the hand signal for a 2, although could be mistaken. We're going to go with 2 minutes of added time, although I'm somewhat guessing. Sinai will start this attack. And finally, partially away by Aubert. Second ball cleared by Straight. Good battle from Dominic Damasi to send it up to Jaden White. And finally, the heroic clearance from Boos will allow the rest of St. James to get back. Flicked forward. Here comes St. James on the far touchline. Sinai is there. Now Hammond all the way back to Navarro. Calm under pressure as always, and that is your final whistle. Summit Valley, hang on. As 5-0 victors. Goals go to Dominic Damasi, Luke Barger, and a hat trick from Seth Hammond. What a performance here at home. Congratulations to Summit Valley. They will go on the road next week. Meanwhile, St. James will host. We'll look forward to hosting that match on DMV Sports Media live on YouTube. If you haven't gotten your fix of amateur footy in, make sure to go and check out MSI versus Hybrid live on the channel now. And in just a few minutes, Josh Sager will be kicking off up Bowley's Athletic hosting Maryland Bobcats on DMV Sports Media. We have, I think, 9 games on the channel tomorrow, so tune in all day long. I'm Noah Walker with DMV Sports Media.